Today, I want to walk you through how I use the Excel tables produced by the Bank File Conversion app for Excel 2013 in PowerPivot. If you find yourself analyzing data and you are not yet using PowerPivot, I hope that after seeing this video, you will consider learning more about it. PowerPivot has three major benefits compared to using straight Excel. First, no more VLOOKUPs. Data from the same source and from differing sources are easily joined via relationships. Second, many types of data sources are accommodated when importing data into PowerPivot, and if you use Power Query to add data to PowerPivot, you will have additional data sources available as well. Third, Excel is limited to 1 million or so rows of data in memory, and PowerPivot is limited only by the physical limitations of your PC. I have seen users with 161 million rows in memory at a time. So, there are two main ways to add data to PowerPivot and hence the data model. You can add tables that are on your Excel workbook sheets to the data model, called linked tables, and you can add tables from external sources using connections established either in PowerPivot or Power Query. Using the Bank File Conversion app for Excel, we can add data two ways. The simplest way and the most efficient is to set the tables in Excel and then add them to the data model. However, this imposes the 1 million row limit, and although most people will not be analyzing 1 million rows of bank transactions at a time, it could cause a problem where tables are aggregated offline for analysis in PowerPivot. In this case, one could aggregate the XML file output from many conversions and use Power Query to transform and import the data into PowerPivot. In that case, there would be no row limit. Once the bank data is in Excel, we can start our analysis. So let's open a new workbook, insert the app, and convert a sample PTR file like so. We can then decide which data table to set in Excel, which in this case, I will set my batch records, which are transaction records that have batch information. Now that we have our batch transactions table added to the data model, we can go into PowerPivot and take a look. This is raw data that we can enhance by adding either calculated columns or calculated measures to our model. In this case, I am interested in analyzing batch transactions, and in the case of lockbox transactions, I want to know by remitter how much was due and how much was remitted and the discount taken, if any. In order to do this, though, I will have to add a few calculated columns to read the tags in the batch transaction record. We will use a workbook of mine that already has the multiple calculated columns all set up and is available as a download for you by following the link in this blog post. So here are all of the calculated columns, In order for them to work as expected, all of the tag name and tag value columns must be set as text data type. Once the PowerPivot table is set and there are no errors in the calculated columns, we can then create our pivot table. Using the pivot table selection in PowerPivot will create a pivot table for us in Excel that utilizes tables from the data model. Using the pivot table field list, we can construct a pivot table that works for our purposes, like so. And that's it.